Fun Stuff Crafts. So glad you could join me for another Inspiration Friday. So this week I wanted to do a project that I had one of my subscribers ask me about. She's watched quite a few of my gator tutorials that are all more around, do a gator instead of a mask. And she was like, Lisa, we live back east, we've got lots of snow, and my husband's out with the snowblower, and I would like to make him a gaiter or a neck warmer that he can wear out in the snow. So this gaiter / neck warmer is not for COVID. It is nothing like that. This is a winter gaiter. And so I want to show you, this is one I have on right here, and it is just a great gaiter. I've made it out of fleece, where I definitely have not done fleece gaiters during the whole COVID thing. But this is made of fleece, and I've lined it with a knit fabric. Now I've also made another one that is fleece on the inside also. So you can go either way. You can go completely with it fleece, or you can do one where it's lined with maybe a softer material. Now, one thing my subscriber had asked is if she could do flannel on the inside. And the only thing with using flannel is flannel doesn't stretch. You want to make sure when you're dealing with a gaiter that something is going to stretch. So both my fleece and my knit material will stretch. So just think about that when you're thinking about the combination of material you want to put together to make your fleece. So I'm really excited to show you guys this winter gaiter. I also just like to wear these as neck warmers. These are great when you go out into the snow, or even just when it's cold out, it's nice to have on. So give me a second to get my camera angle changed, and we will get making these winter gaiters.
If you're new to my channel, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and click on the bell, and YouTube should alert you each time I upload a new video.
So let's get started on what supplies we need for this project. So this gaiter that I originally made, I did the outside and the inside both with the same fleece material. But one of my subscribers had commented that she would like to see a gaiter with a different material on the inside. So I went into my stash and I had some more fleece. So this piece of fleece I have right here is 10 inches by 21. Now my 21 inches is where the fleece stretches, okay? The 10 does not have the give. Really important that that 21 length has the stretch in it, okay? So 21 inches by 10 inches made out of fleece. And then I grabbed some knit material, and I'm going to use that for the inside or the lining of this gaiter. And I've got that the exact same way. Okay, so the stretch on the knit. And a lot of times knit will stretch both ways, which this one does, but it has the most stretch going this direction. Okay, and again, this is 10 inches by 21 inches. Now, if you like a longer gaiter, then the 10 inches is what you want to be longer. So let me give you an example. This first gaiter I made, I actually made it 15 inches. So it's a really long gaiter. So if I wanted to do the same thing with this one, I would still have my 21 inches, but I would have measured it or cut it up here much bigger, okay? The very first thing that we're gonna do now that we've got both of our pieces of material cut is we are gonna put right sides together, okay? So I can see from my material that this is my right sides, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead, and I'm not gonna use my serger for this project. I am gonna use my sewing machine. So I am gonna go ahead and clip, and I'm just gonna clip along that edge. So you guys can use pins if you guys like to use pins. I just really love these clips. And so I'm just gonna go ahead and clip all the way along. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna bring it over to the sewing machine. And we are going to use our zigzag stitch. Now remember, anytime you're using your sewing machine and you're using a stretch fabric, I always suggest that zigzag stitch, okay? Some sewing machines have a knit, a knit stitch, and you can use that. Now you guys see I had the front and the left side and the right side, and I had a little bit of extra give in there, so I just unclipped it, and there we are again, okay? So now what we're going to do is we're going to take this over to the sewing machine, and we're going to sew from here to here, and we're going to do that as a zigzag stitch. Okay, so I'm trying a new angle with my sewing machine so you guys can get a better look. So I've got my material, we've got all clipped, okay? I'm going to go ahead and put my sewing machine to a zigzag stitch, and I'm going to go ahead and raise my foot, and I'm going to do just right at a 1/4 inch seam allowance on this. I'm going to put my foot down, okay? And as I go, I'm going to just remove my clips, okay? So I'm just going to go ahead and start sewing away. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and clip my threads. And there we are. Got my stitch. I'm going to go ahead and clip my threads that I've got. Get those out of the way. Okay, let's move the sewing machine out of the way so you guys can kind of see where I'm at now. Okay, so now what we've got is we've got our 2 pieces that are all sewn together. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we are going to take and sew the other side the exact same way we did this one, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and clip this one the same way. And then we're going to run a zigzag stitch again. And you guys, these are just like the gaiters that I had made that were more COVID related. This one is definitely for winter time and warmth. So not looking at a COVID gaiter here, but something to keep you warm when you're out in the snow. Okay, so let's go ahead and turn our sewing machine, our camera again, and we'll do the same thing. I'm going to go ahead and put it in, and I'm going to do that same thing. I'm going to do that, excuse me, I'm going to do that 1/4 inch seam, okay? And do a quick little back stitch there. And I'm going to clip my threads. Okay, and so now you guys will be able to see I have got both sides of my fabric with my zigzag stitch. Okay, so now important step here, you guys. You want to make sure at this point in time that you can put your arm through your gaiter. See how I'm through my gaiter? Very important, okay? And so what we're going to do is we're going to bring in right sides together, okay, of your gaiter. So I've brought one side through the tube, and I'm going to put right sides together, and then what I'm doing is I'm matching up my ends, and I'm going to take a clip and I'm going to clip. Now one thing I want to show you guys really closely here is I have got one set of my seams going this direction and one going this direction. So see how that one's laying this direction and this one's laying this direction. And I'm doing that to help cut down on the bulk, okay? And then I want to do the exact same thing on the other side. So I'm matching up, and I'm going to lay my seams going the opposite direction, okay? And I'm just going to clip, okay? Then what you can do on the fleece side, you can add another clip. Now on the knit side, this is the side that we're going to leave open, a part of it, because this is where we're going to pull through and turn our gaiter right sides out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just clip and leave a gap opening, okay? And we're gonna finish off that opening in a minute, okay? So what I'm gonna do now is I've got it all clipped, right? I'm gonna take my sewing machine and I'm gonna sew around, starting at the one clip on the knit all the way around and ending at this one, okay? Now, I will tell you guys, if you guys have got a free arm on your machine, this is a good time to remove it, okay? It really helps with sewing around circle like that, okay? Now, I'm gonna stay with my zigzag stitch, you guys. It's very important that we stick with that zigzag stitch, okay? So I'm gonna put my foot down and I'm gonna go around and I'm gonna do a zigzag stitch. And again, it's just about a 1/4 inch seam. The one thing you wanna make sure is that your pieces are together, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and sew a little bit, and then I'm gonna go backwards to just knot off my seam. And then I'm just gonna go, now I'm gonna go, I like to stop mine or slow it down when I get to right where my clip was, because I wanna make sure those seams stay the right way. So I'm gonna slow my machine down a little bit, and then I'm just going to kind of help it a little bit, okay? And we're just gonna let that sew around and speed up my machine again. So I'm going to stop it again because I come to another seam. I just want to make sure that those stay the right way. Watch your fingers here. Okay, and then I'm going to do a little back stitch. Okay, and then I'm going to clip my... Okay, so now we've got our gaiter sewn all the way around, but we've got this one opening right here, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn my gaiter right sides out, okay? And I like to leave the knit side on the outside for right now, because what we're going to do is we're going to finish off that opening we've got, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and just, gotta play with it a little bit there. I'm going to go ahead and just do a zigzag stitch right across where that opening is to close it. Now, you guys could hand stitch this if you would like, but I just like to do the zigzag stitch. No one is going to see this stitch. Okay, so let's hop back over to the sewing machine. Okay, so I just got that in the sewing machine, and I'm going to stick with our zigzag stitch. I am going to do a little back stitch just to secure it, and then I'm just going to go forward, and we're just stitching right where that opening is. So I kind of like to keep it with my finger so I can kind of tell where I can stop at. I can see it's right about here. I'll just do a quick back stitch there. Clip my threads, raise my foot up. Okay, so we've got that seam all done. So now what we want to do is we want to turn our gaiter right sides out. And you guys, we are done. We have finished a winter gaiter. You know, it's got that seam, you can wear that in the back, but it is ready to go. So I'll make sure I give you a close-up of it on. And I just really hope you like this tutorial. Another way to keep yourself warm during the winter time. So many different fleece prints out there, and you guys, you could use scrap material for this. This does not take that much material to make these cute gaiters.
Thanks so much for joining me for another Inspiration Friday. And here's a close-up view of these winter gaiter / neck warmers. I even got my husband to model for me so you could see these work for both men and for women. If you're looking for other DIY projects, don't forget to check out my blog at funstuffcrafts.com.